Hello and welcome to Movie Theater Time Machine, the podcast where we keep it real to real. And, alright, so, this week, we're gonna keep our Pulp Adventure month going, which, with a movie that's a little less pulpy, a little more adventure, we watched The Road to El Dorado, a movie from 2000 from DreamWorks, and a better movie than it has any right to be.
I gotta say, I was really surprised.
Yep.
Yeah, I was really surprised with it, and looking back on how it was all made, I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna, wait, no, this is really fun.
Yep. It's a fun movie. Yeah. It's the source of at least 3 separate memes that I can think of that pop up online regularly. Let's see, it's starring, I had it, and then I lost it.
Don't worry, I got you.
Starring Kevin Kline and Armand Asante's in there somewhere, and Jim Cummings and Frank Welker. Frank Welker's the horse, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't forget Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
Yes, Kenneth Branagh. Yes.
Kenneth Branagh.
Like, and Rosie Perez.
Rosie Perez.
Mm-hmm.
Edward James almost.
Armin Asante.
Yep.
Edward James almost.
Yep. Edward James, almost close enough.
Yeah.
So,
Edward James close enough.
But before we go any further,
And Elton John.
Yeah. Before we go any further than that, I'm Dan.
I'm Joss.
I'm Nick.
I'm Kath.
We're switching up a little bit, making things a little weird for you. All right, so Road to El Dorado. It's a DreamWorks movie. It's one of the, I don't know if it was one of the first DreamWorks movies, but it was up there.
It was early on. It was like the 3rd or 4th one,
Yes.
I believe.
And this was when DreamWorks was trying their best to compete against Disney when they were still in their renaissance.
Yeah.
And they didn't really win.
No, and also they didn't figure out how to advertise, and also timing of their movies was terrible.
And this was pre-Shrek, so...
Yeah, pre-Shrek, definitely, but also their major advertisement was on Burger King. You know, so like, they sank everything. Oh, kids go to Burger King, let's do this. And then McDonald's started pushing their kids' meals again with other movies, so they kind of drowned all that out.
So because the Happy Meal at McDonald's is always what you think of when you think of a kids' meal. You don't think of the Burger King Kids Club. I mean, maybe I do, but I remember that weird kid Wheels that had the mono goggle and he was in the wheelchair. I remember shit.
Yeah, and also...
I thought Kid Vid was the one with the big goggle thing.
Maybe I'm mixing the two of them. I don't know.
Yeah, but also, like, I looked up I was really curious as to why this didn't do too well, and it really comes down all to it is timing.
Yep, because it went up. It went up against what movie?
It went up against Erin Brockovich.
Wait, that's not a Disney movie.
It's not a Disney movie whatsoever.
I thought there was an animated movie. It went up. All right, fair enough.
There are a couple others, but Erin Brockovich came out the week beforehand, and where we're in a world sort of, not the internet where it is now, where everything is on social media, but it's something that's on message boards, chat rooms, and AOL and all that.
Yeah.
Erin Brockovich and the studio, Universal Pictures, sunk everything into AOL. In order to advertise it, so no matter where it is, and then sunk it on TV. So no matter where you went, no matter what went on, you saw it. Then everybody had to do it. So nobody fucking knew about Road to El Dorado.
Erin Brockovich basically had the advertising carpet bombed everywhere.
Yeah, and it just
meanwhile only Burger
it.
King knew about Road to El Dorado.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there was a Walt Disney one. There's a Disney movie, but there's other ones. High Fidelity also was released that same day.
That's another one I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I know, Big Shock, a movie I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's here. And then many others. There's also a movie called Mission to Mars, which, yes, it's that Disney ride that it's based on.
I was about to say, know, that sounds familiar. Yeah. Okay.
It's that Disney ride that everybody knows about. Right? Yeah, that's at Epcot, yeah. It's that particular movie, and I mean, that's what I believe truly sunk it. Because that's one that Walt Disney really pushed that one. That's also the big Gary Sinise vehicle.
Aha.
Yeah.
Alright, so beginning of the movie, we get a really kind of watered-down, sugar-coated version of Aztec mythology. In reality, Aztec mythology, what we know of it anyway. Now, granted, I'm probably... Like, when we mention names of gods at certain points, I am probably going to butcher the pronunciations, but it's the best I can do. And we also don't really know all that much about Aztec mythology or the actual culture because Hernan Cortez genocided the living shit out of these people.
Yeah.
So there really isn't much surviving that we can know.
I mean, you talk about watered down, it's pretty much the same as the Native Americans
They just moved over. They moved over and let these people come in.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did we go over any history? I thought it was just mostly... somewhere there's a city of gold.
Yeah.
Well, they were talking about when the gods made people.
Yeah.
It's like they
Which
require...
time?
Well, see, when
This is like the
when the
fifth
Aztec
time.
when the Aztec gods made people, they required an awful lot of blood to do it, but we don't hear about that in this movie.
If you're
No,
interested in animation regarding that, check out Onyx Equinox, that anime. Although I don't think they ever got a second season.
Yeah, and also
I have a feeling I'm going to be looking into that.
Yeah, it was neat. Like I don't know. I remember the two brothers that were always that was obsessed with playing ball, and then his sister got sacrificed or something, and there's all these gods, and they're kind of creepy and weird, like possessing people, and then the people start rotting.
Yeah, and also like that ball game that they show.
Yep.
Sideways basketball.
It's creepier.
It was a real thing, and I think it's
worse than you think.
I could be wrong on this. I think it's the winning team that gets sacrificed because they prove to be better.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they mentioned that.
The winning team gets.
In this movie, it's like
But
the
he
losing
stops
team
them.
is. In this one, the losing team's to be sacrificed. But in reality, I believe, and again, I could be wrong. Let us know. But it was the winning team because they proved themselves worthy of their sacrifice to the gods.
And as well as the way that it was played, is they showed in the movie as being you hit the ball with the hip.
With the hip,
When you
the
did
knee,
not hit it with the hip.
It was the elbows and the knees mostly, right?
In reality, no. It was hit with the genitals.
Oh, no thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Basically knock it with the genitals and knock your dick around.
No, you're good.
Yeah, to knock
thanks.
your dick around. And at that point, if you did win, you did not mate and you did not procreate.
Yeah, I mean...
So it didn't matter. Well, then
Drama!
Yeah.
Was the winning... were both teams made of prisoners of war? So it's not like they're sacrificing their own people anyway?
They may have, and they may not have. Again, we don't have very many surviving records because, Cortez was a dick.
Well, I thought they had like a lot of, the stones. I get the Mesoamerican, all
the Mayan cultures and the Aztec cultures.
They kind of blend together.
Inca cultures,
there are similarities, but they're not exactly the same.
Like
and
codices. Big stones.
You gotta remember, we learned world history in America, so it's a name and date, and let's just kind of leave it at that.
Everything was straight up whitewashed.
Yeah,
like,
just to quote.
I don't remember.
There were a few things that were really hand waved in this movie too, which we will get to.
Yeah. But to quote Ron Swanson from Parks
we don't get enough blood.
To quote Ron Swanson from Parks and Recreation, it's history began on July 4th, 1776. Everything before that was a mistake. American history at your best, folks.
Oh God! I mean, that's about what they teach us.
Yeah,
like, legitimately.
At that point,
you don't want to learn about American history if you're in Texas because you ain't getting the real shit.
No,
I'll tell you that right now.
Well, we're in Massachusetts, so I don't think the curriculum was that bad. We just kind of this year we're going over world history, like ancient.
But it was
it's still pretty whitewashed.
It was still watered down.
A lot of the history books in American high schools don't mention a single solitary thing about our our concentration camps for the American Indians. No mention of it whatsoever until there's something very specific about it. Like, I didn't learn about these things until I took a class specifically about world genocides in high school.
Yeah.
I took that class because it felt pretty edgy. It's just like, I'm going to take genocide class, and it was with the most boring teacher in the entire world who played the most boring documentaries, and I would fall the fuck asleep. But thanks to one of the guys in my class, Kim Schwartz, buddy of mine. He sat right next to me because, name-wise, we're pretty close. He sat right next to me, and when I nodded off and kind of leaned against the blackboard, he would, throw erasers and shit at me to wake me up before the end of the movie, so we didn't know.
It reminds me of
Thank you, Kim.
It reminds me of the joke from Community here with Troy Barnes says, "Man, I'm failing psychopharmacology. Why are you taking that class? I thought it was about crazy farm animals."
I mean, I took more than a couple classes based on how that it sounded cool. Like when I was in college, I took an introduction to logic class, thinking it was going to be like a how to debate kind of class. It was going to be like how to make arguments. Like, no, it's math with words. It was bullshit. It sucked.
So that's when you graduate from algebra, math with letters.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You get to
Yeah.
full sentences.
When you realize, and another one that our college offered was introduction to lasers, and not one time in that class did they have a laser pointed out there.
Oh, for God's sake!
Like, did you not use a
episode
laser
was
just to
that?
point there? It was Parks and Recreation,
Oh,
but that
yeah.
was
okay.
but that was a UMass Dartmouth class
What?
at one point.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I've done the laser thing. Just have a laser pointer and just like point it up at the sky.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to piss off an alien at some point.
Yeah, like, did you not just like use a laser to point at notes on the board or something? Come on, at least
like,
just give us that.
Give me something. Work.
Yeah, it's not, man. Come on, just keep my interest.
So anyway, the movie we get that super watered down version of the creation of
They
of the
forgot
world.
the part where, like, what was it, the fourth one? They turned all the people into monkeys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't remember. Was there one involving corn? I can't remember.
probably.
Yeah.
Corn was a big thing.
I just know that
That's where we get the name Huitlajote.
if
Corn
I
smut.
sexy corns,
Yeah.
but
It's appealing.
Look it up. I can't spell Huitlajote to you, but look it up. Corn smut. It's a delicacy.
Oh, I thought you said corn slut.
No. Well,
smutty corn.
corn smut. Yes.
That's porn about corn. Corn porn.
Gentlemen, behold, corn.
No, it's been a few years since I watched Onyx Equinox, so I'm like, I don't remember. I just know there was like, this is the fifth age or something.
So, all right. So the movie proper starts off. We meet two con artists, Miguel and Tulio, who are they're rolling a bunch of drunks in an alley with a pair of loaded dice.
This was funny.
And they have basically everyone's money, and they're like, "All right, well that's it. You're all broke. We're gonna go." And this guy's like, "No, you can't go. I have a map to El Dorado in the New World." And
Somehow.
Tulio and Miguel are both gold crazy. They want money, and they eventually talk themselves in a circle to kind of like, okay, we're gonna do this one last roll, but the guy doesn't want to use their loaded dice because he doesn't trust us. So I'm going to use my dice, and miraculously the dice come up a 7 anyway. They take all their winnings, but during their like celebration dance, the loaded dice fall out, and the guy finds out they're loaded, and we start a long kind of chase scene after a beautiful moment of the bard and the rogue having their moment, where they start an argument. Well, they start an argument with each other that neither of them are really truly about. It's all a game to get them away from the crowd so they can escape.
Yeah, it's like they're each trying to throw the other under the bus while sword fighting.
Yeah, well, in reality, they are both like they're both fully in on this is just for us to get away. And at one point, I think it's Tulio is actually in a bad position, and Miguel gets both swords, and he's like, "Oh no, not the face, not the face, not the face." So they manage to get away from the crowd and fall into an enclosure with a bull. Yeah. They manage to they get out of the bull enclosure, but they free the bull in the process, and there's just a long chase scene throughout the streets of wherever they are, Spain, and they ultimately end up accidentally stowing away on Hernan Cortez's ship to the New World.
Oops.
Whoops.
They shouldn't have hidden in the barrels.
I'd say the last moment, though, when they're on the roof and they're saying bye to the crowd, that's where I absolutely lost it. Mm-hmm. Folks, you've been great. We've got to go.
We have to go. Goodbye.
Yeah, that I lost it. Like,
That is a full-on, the bard and the rogue are having their own adventure, and the paladin is nowhere to be found to keep them in control.
that's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
And I don't think Chell is a paladin.
Yeah.
Chell is absolutely not a paladin. She's just a different she's just another rogue that shows up. She's more of the seductress con artist than the just regular con artist. But we're not even anywhere near her yet. So, at sea, they end up getting caught, and they're in prison, but they break free thanks to an incredibly smart horse, who they bribe with an apple. Altivo. They bribe Altivo with an apple, asking for a pry bar, and he returns them with the keys, because this horse is smarter than all of them put together.
Right.
They managed to escape the ship, and through a series of crazy situations, they end up stealing Altivo as well.
Yeah.
The
And
horse goes overboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Miguel is compelled to save him because I think the horse is his one true love, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's
to a degree,
because
yeah.
Miguel
He's singing the love song later to everybody and everything.
Miguel is a chaotic good bard. It's just like he's going to do all this stuff. It's like I don't care what happens to these people, and then the second something happens to those people,
Yeah.
he's like I have to save them.
Yeah.
He is like
Jerk with a heart of gold?
Absolutely. Although he's it's closer to it leans more into the heart of gold thing because he's bad. He's
yeah,
bad
not
at
really
he's bad at being the jerk.
Yeah.
He will play the jerk, but he's real bad at it.
Yeah.
So-
And I think it's like you say the horse is smarter than everything, but he also goes after the apple into the open sea.
He's hungry.
He
was put on.
fair point,
He was on half
Fucking
rations.
horse?
Yeah.
He was on, Cortez put him on half rations.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've been on a diet before. I would jump off a ship for a goddamn cookie. Are you kidding me? I know all about diets.
Yeah.
I'm ready to gnaw my own arm off on some of those.
I have been on many diets, and considering my own father-in-law did diets as a hobby, I could actually see your
Dad,
dad.
you're insane.
Yeah, I could see your dad doing that as well.
My mom was on and off Weight Watchers a lot when I was growing up, and whenever Mom was on a diet, everybody in the house was on a diet.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just like, oh, good, more whole grain wheat bread. Oh, it's so
Yeah.
good. I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been through many a diet, and I know the gnawing hunger of like I've had enough to eat. I am sustained, but it doesn't feel good.
That's how I
No.
feel when I eat an apple. A lot.
See, apples are nice, but they don't feel filling.
Right.
You know.
And then you
Right.
gotta eat some pudding.
Yeah.
Yes, you gotta fill that void in your
Yeah,
soul with pudding.
Yeah,
Fat.
yeah. You
Yeah.
eat the apple, then eat the pudding, then eat the peanut butter, and then all accidentally, oh my god, I ate a pie.
He says while reaching for the bag of cookies on the table. Okay, I'm gonna put those over here.
Out of view.
I said cookie, and now Chino's interested. Yeah, those are not for you. There's chocolate in them. You can't have those. He's
Ooh,
like,
and
but Father, I want them.
And if you also like the Mesoamerican style and themes and stuff, there's two Guacamelee games.
Oh,
Those are fun.
Guacamole is so good.
But
Yeah.
play with a controller.
Yes, trying
Not
to
a
play that
keyboard.
on a keyboard is you're asking for trouble.
Yes.
But if you like Metroidvanias, the Guacamole games are amazing. I never
They're
finished.
beautiful.
I never finished the first one. I don't think. I got to get back to that.
Yeah, I finished.
Where did I buy that? On? Is the question.
Steam? Where I
Hey,
got
no,
it.
it's not on Steam. It's probably
No?
on something. Was it GameFly back in the day? Which, by the way, I found out the other day, GameFly still exists.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
I was shocked. GameFly is still a thing. I figured they would have gone under by now with the physical discs and everything.
Huh. Oh, I think I'm getting confused with what people were making jokes about stock. Oh, that was GameStop.
That was GameStop. Yes,
Okay.
that was the stock like.
The meat.
Oh God, I don't remember what they were calling it, but it was some kind of like shorting the stock to like drive the
Yeah.
prices up, and it's just Anyway, so they managed to steal a rowboat, and against all odds, through various storms and sharks and dead seagulls and
Why did they draw a butthole on the seagull?
I don't.
Yeah, you pointed that out, Mike, and I just all
It's like,
that
just-
all I
I'm like,
saw.
This
Well-
weird seagull just flies out and lands, and I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
you're not close. You think
Yeah.
you're close to land, but you're not, because the
Nope.
seagull is gonna die.
They
and
go that far out to sea to die,
that's what I learned from The Simpsons. Mm-hmm. And it does.
and then they're
And
gonna,
it has a butthole.
and they're like, "Ooh, look, it's a bird. We're gonna eat the bird." And then a shark comes out, straight up jaws and takes the bird. And they're like, "Oh
Bastard.
God!" But they still somehow managed to make it to land
Without having to decide who to eat.
Yeah, without having to go through that
Altivo.
situation. Altivo would not have won in that situation. Although he may have been able to kick the other two clean off the boat.
Yeah, maybe kill somebody and then
But-
they just eat whoever's dead.
They managed to land, and Miguel starts recognizing landmarks from the map. That he managed to save the map. Didn't bring as much food as they should, but he managed to keep the
And
map.
Julio was pretty bad about
I
that.
like
And
this.
Julio's upset. You couldn't have brought a little more food.
Where was
the,
he hiding that map?
the anime, you're right, yeah. But the animation on his face alone, I mean, if you were kind of half paying attention, is just amazing.
There were so many of those little, like,
little emotes.
I mean,
are
they're big.
Yeah.
They're like big cartoon sort of things because obviously these aren't proportioned to real people. But the looks, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Without acting, but it's a cartoon thing. I love all those little looks, like from the background, people going, no, oh, what are you doing?
Yes, the expressions and the character designs are pretty nice.
Yes, it is very good.
Very good.
I know there was.
Reminds me of Iron Giant a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Iron Giant is.
And 8 Crazy Nights. Were they all like the same?
Iron
studio?
Giant is Warner Brothers, I believe, but yeah, it's got a very similar feel to it.
Character design.
Yeah,
I know there was some CG in this movie, but it seemed to be mostly it's mostly hand drawn, which we don't see as much.
Background at some point. Yeah,
we don't see as much straight up hand drawn stuff anymore. Gold. And whatever Tulio's going on about, is like, oh, but there was so much gold. I'm like, what are you, a dwarf? Knock it off.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know.
This isn't D&D.
Very rich, so. The whole point of gold is so you can have freedom in life.
Yeah. So anyway, they follow all the landmarks on the map, and there's like a big long musical number because we're reminded again that this is a musical. So there's like a big musical number as they're getting lost in the jungle and flipping the map around and being confused about where they're going, and they ultimately do manage to find the end of the map where El Dorado is, and as far as they're concerned, it's just a big goddamn rock.
And I'm like, check behind the waterfall. There's always something behind. There's always something
behind the waterfall. Like it holds true in video games. Yes. It holds true in legend lore. It's just always check behind the waterfall.
Right. Even Guild Wars 2, I was like, let's check behind this waterfall. And then it turns out there was an achievement for if you check behind all the waterfalls on the Dragonfall map. And I'm like, I'm down with that.
The Final Fantasy XIV just came out with a new island sanctuary, and there's this stream going through your sanctuary. It's got a series of small waterfalls, and I have run headfirst into all of them just trying to find something.
Yeah.
Nothing yet. So, yeah, they find this big rock and they start arguing with each other because as far as they're concerned, there's a dead end. It's like, screw this, we're just going to go home somehow. We don't plan ahead.
For big rock!
Yeah, and we don't plan ahead of things, and then out of nowhere, there's this woman comes running out, and she's followed by a bunch of guards or soldiers or whatever, and they take...
She has gold!
They take Tulio and Miguel, we think, captive, and lead them back into the actual city of El Dorado, which in real life didn't actually exist. It was all a myth. It wasn't real.
And not like one of those City of Troy that turned out to be true. Maybe.
Well, El Dorado is Spanish. They wouldn't have called it El Dorado in actual Mesoamerica if it was an actual thing. And you're not going to build an entire city out of gold. It's a heavy, soft, stupid metal that doesn't really have... It's got applications in electronics, but that's not going to matter in Mesoamerica.
Right.
Did they use gold? I mean, they could have gold-plated some stone or something.
Probably for decorative purposes, but the whole streets paved with it and buildings made of gold, that wasn't something that would have been at all feasible.
Yeah, that was a urban myth that the Americas were all going right to even World War II era.
I thought that was more of a poetic metaphor.
Yeah, but it's just the streets were paved. Those streets were actually paved in gold.
I mean, it was a metaphor. It was like a poetic metaphor, but humanity, by and large, is stupid, and they believed that it was real, and they're like, "Oh my God, actual gold!"
Yeah,
because remember, as we learn from Tommy Lee Jones in the first Men in Black, a person is smart. People are dumb, dangerous, panicky animals.
Yeah, good way to put it. Yeah.
Yep. So basically, they get to the city of El Dorado and quickly discover that the natives in the city think that they are gods returned because they kind of, sort of resemble the gods on the inscription on the big stone out front, like the two of them on the back of Altivo kind of look like the gods, and they don't look like anyone there, so they're just like, oh, they must be the gods.
Plot.
Yeah.
It's that whole plot, and through pure sheer dumb luck, they manage to have an argument and shout stop right at the same time as a volcano stops erupting somehow and sucks all the smoke back in.
Okay, that was a bit much. Also, how does everybody understand each other?
Yes!
But then
This
again,
is what I mentioned before. Okay,
see
I
the
understand.
priest guy doing actual magic, so
I understand I understand it's a cartoon. I understand it's
I thought maybe the priest did the thing with because I had this feeling I wasn't sure if either him or the chief initially believed them gods or kind of knew better, and were just using.
I feel like the chief thought them gods at first, but he figured it out pretty quick, and we have evidence later that he has figured it out.
To heirs.
Yeah, but also he's the god, like, as well.
But what
Because
matters?
he cuts his hand and he doesn't bleed.
Well, he cuts.
Wait, what?
He bleeds, but he uses magic to heal it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the
yeah,
high
yeah.
priest. That's the high priest you're talking
Yeah,
about.
It's like
yeah.
they have this unknown rivalry of some kind.
They don't like each other because the high priest seems to want the coming of the age of the jaguar, which needs to be like ushered in with blood and sacrifice and horror. Meanwhile, the chief likes things the way they are. He wants things to be happy. He wants things to be copacetic. He doesn't. He likes peace.
I got
Right.
the feeling that the high priest was trying to seize power.
Oh, absolutely. It's that evil vizier.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Yep.
Jafar, effectively.
Yeah, and in a culture like that, sometimes, the priest has more power than the local politician. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, with the volcano coincidentally erupting and then stopping, it
I thought
makes
maybe
them
the
think
high
they're
priest worked some magic to help sell the illusion that they were gods in order to play that whole thing against the.
Oh, he definitely played up the image that they were gods. He kept that going because he himself believed it for the longest time. The high priest, Zekel Khan, which I'm not entirely sure is actual Aztec words. Zekel doesn't really sound that, but it's a TZ, so maybe, I don't know.
Khan!
Basically, the two get showered with gifts of gold from Tanabak. Tanabak is the chief, I believe.
The guy from the meme.
From the but this the chief this so what but this that look like the original shocked. He was the shocked Pikachu before shocked Pikachu.
Huh, what?
It's the same kind of idea. It's just like when someone's surprised by something, we get the shocked chief face, or someone's surprised, we get shocked Pikachu.
Huh.
It's the evolution of memes.
I didn't know. I assumed Shock Pikachu is older. Yeah.
I mean, shocked Pikachu is fairly recent, I think. I'm gonna have to look it up.
This is
Anyway.
important history we're
Yes.
talking about.
I mean, for today's day and age, it is.
And here and there we see that Cortez does find the remains of the boat and is kind of on their trail.
Cortez is following them. He manages to land.
Slowly.
How they got to land before the big ships did, I couldn't tell you.
I guess it's that the whole storm thing was supposed to propel them faster.
I
I don't
suppose.
get it.
Oh, excuse me. They end up meeting Chell, who is not the protagonist from Portal, but is in fact the thief that the soldiers were chasing out of the waterfall. She wants to get away from El Dorado. Her whole thing is she wants adventure. She wants something different. She wants to have an adventure. And to do so, she stole some gold and was trying to get away. Where she's going to go, I don't know, because to my knowledge, like, the Aztecs were like the biggest culture in South America at the
A
time.
different city?
Maybe. I'm just not sure where she was supposed to go. And at the end of the
Outside
movie, we
world.
have that other question, like, where are they going to go?
It's like a secluded place.
So, anyway, they quickly find out that Chell is also a con artist, and they kind of strike this deal with each other. This is where we find out that Miguel truly is the bard, because he is immediately smitten with Chell, and I can't
If
really.
you aren't, you don't have eyes. I'm sorry.
It's like if you're into the whole like hips thing, you're absolutely into Chell. So, but he gets Tullio makes him agree. Chell is off limits. This is we got to stop doing this, and this is where we learn.
Gods.
Yeah, the gods can't be tempted into things. Someone didn't read their Greek mythology because at no point do the gods ever resist temptation in Greek mythology.
They have no filter.
Nah, I mean Hera maybe, but either way,
they must be really old and they lost their filter.
I guess.
You think people that are 80 years old give a crap? Try 800 or 8,000 or whatever. 80,000 years old. I don't give a crap what anyone thinks of me. I'm gonna turn into a swan and bang, bang.
All right. So they basically as the movie progresses, we see like the chief and the high priest kind of competing for the attention or approval of the gods. The high priest wants to sacrifice people in their honor. The god, like the chief, just wants to be like, "Hey,
food,
everything's
gold.
Cool. Here's some food. Here's some gold. Let's throw it in the water." Oh wait, no, stop throwing it in the water. They don't want that. And I think it was around this point that the chief figures out that they're mortal.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say anything because he's just like, okay.
He could still use them to play against.
To play against the high priest, yes.
Yeah, and they want a boat to get the fuck out.
They want a boat so that they can ascend in a largely horizontal fashion at first, but then they will ascend in another direction. But we need the boat first in order to ascend back to
need more rope.
Everything. Yep. But we need a lot more rope.
For vertical.
And
the gold, we want the gold.
And while they're basically, the two kind of split at one point because Miguel wants to go out and explore, and he manages to go out and explore with the help of Chell, distracting Tullio, really distracting Tullio. So Chell and Tullio kind of become romantically entangled. Yeah.
They're doing it or something.
Yeah,
She is so transparently thirsty.
Oh, straight up.
She tries to watch them change out of their clothes.
It's like I didn't ask you to trust me. It's like no, it was something that rhymes with trust. Maybe thrust, maybe lust, maybe whatever.
Thirst.
It's a little off the beat, but it's there. So Miguel ends up going out and just kind of wandering around the city, and he finds out that there's been
about love for some reason.
Well, he's found out there's been quite a few, orders that have been put out in his name. Like his orders have been put out. It's like I didn't put out any orders. We find out Zekil Khan has been saying, "Oh, we have to do this.
Speak for the gods.
We speak for the gods.
Like
we have to get the city ready for the cleansing." Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
We have to
for the gods.
We have to get the city ready for the cleansing, which can't be good.
No. I don't think they invented street sweepers.
And in the process of his wanderings, he kind of comes to love the city of El Dorado. He comes to love just the peaceful atmosphere of this whole. He leans towards the chief. He wants peace. He wants the prosperity going on here, and the chief wants him to stay because the chief has figured out.
He's supposed to be here for 1,000 years.
Well, see, things have happened up family things. We have to go. So, shit, where was I?
Where you're from, you wouldn't understand.
During this kind of argument back and forth, Zekil Khan he sees Miguel playing like a kind of a soccer-ish sort of game with the kids, and he freaks out, just like, the gods should not play ball like this. And then we swap to basically a stadium. It's like, it should be like this, and it's the crazy sideways basketball kind of game. And they're like, of course the gods know the rules. Go and play against 15 or whatever. It's like 15 of the greatest ball players that this city has to offer. It's like, I'm sure you'll make it, a good show.
Oh, and they have to play all fucking day.
And yes,
until the shadow
they play all day till the shadow hits the line.
And they're not doing well.
Yeah,
they're not doing well at all until they figure out how to cheat. And the little armadillo character that's been following them around he rolls them into a ball, and the armadillo helps them out and starts doing all kinds of crazy stuff to, basically get them even scored. And during the course of the whole thing, they accidentally swap out the armadillo for a real ball, and Miguel, through pure luck, manages to get the ball into the hoop. Involved. But in the middle of both of these movements, Tulio elbows Miguel in the head, and we see a little bit of blood that pops out of his head. And then later on, while they're saying well, you have won, so now you want the other team to be sacrificed in your honor, and Miguel says, no, fuck that. No, nobody's getting... No, we're done. We're done. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of this. No more sacrificing. Get the fuck out. And the high priest sees that Miguel has a cut over his eye, and he sees him bleed. Yeah. And this clicks for the high priest. Gods don't bleed.
I have some little bit of facts on the ball game that I found. Yes. So it's known as, and I'm really going to butcher this itself, but basically known as pits. So there's a Nahuatl pronunciation.
Nahuatl, I think?
Yeah. There's a Mayan language pronunciation that's different. Basically, it's not America. It's called Pits, but America.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just,
the other name probably has a T and a Z at one point, and a T and an L in another.
Just about, yeah. Yeah. So it's I
don't know exactly how to pronounce them. I just know every time I do it, I'm probably doing it wrong.
So it's I think its origin started around 1650 BC. Known as a different sport, different versions have been going around for about a millennia. Another version of the game is Ulama, basically played by different indigenous people, sort of the same, but the rules are genuinely not known. Probably similar to what we know as racquetball today, where
it's Kelvin ball.
Yeah.
Or racquetball. Racquetball, the one sport where you can be looking directly at the ball and it will still hit you in the back of the head.
Right, yeah. So,
is that highlight?
Yeah.
With the
racquetball is literally you have a tennis racket and the ball is a much smaller rubber ball, and you're in just a square room and it's bouncing it off the wall and trying to get it past your opponent. It's okay.
It's difficult.
I'm going to go back to to the Men in Black thing again. Do you remember? You've seen the original Men in Black, right?
A long while ago.
Do you remember the little floating ball thing that Will Smith touches and then it goes ping, 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 all over the base?
Yeah.
And it's almost it destroys so much stuff. It's a solid minute and a half of this thing bouncing around breaking shit.
Yeah.
That's racquetball.
Yeah. Yeah, I've tried playing it. It's not easy.
I would always duck in volleyball, so I can't imagine how horrible that would be. I don't want to be a unit in a pinball table. Thank you.
So you wouldn't like one of the new courses in Mario Kart 8 then. The whole thing is going through a pinball table and just trying not to get crushed.
Just not in real life.
Damn. So the most common theory about what Ulama was the players would use the ball, as I said, and strike with their hips, but mostly strike with their genitals.
Whack! Oh!
Yeah. So they're allowed to use their forearms, rackets, bats, and handstones if they had the chance to do it. The ball was made of solid rubber and weighed as much as 9 pounds.
It's a fucking bludger from Harry Potter.
Yeah. Yeah, and serious. So it was a ritual and major formal ball game in the area, and as used as a ritual event. It usually combined here the cultural combined competitions with religious human sacrifice. The ball was played casually for recreation with children, and may have been played with women as well, although accounts aren't really here. Pre-Columbian ball carts have been found throughout Mesoamerica, for example, at Copan in Nicaragua, as far north as what is known as the U.S. state of Arizona now.
Oh.
Many ball courts are considerable in size, have long, narrow alleys with slanted walls, which does give to the idea that once the shadow fully covered the court is when the game was done.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
And you think a football game is long.
Right.
What if you had Space Jam, Mesoamerican Space Jam? Directed by Quentin Tarantino.
And Michael Jordan. Jesus Christ.
Oh, God.
Michael Jordan or LeBron James, depending on which one you're watching, is going to get sacrificed if he doesn't win against the Monstars.
And the Monstars are like, dude, Wow.
Dude, no wonder why we never invaded this planet.
So
This is some
This
bull.
is stupid.
This is intense, man. I'm out. No
Yeah.
thanks.
not cool.
Yeah,
Sacrifice.
Ew. No, I'm good. No, bro. I'm out.
I never saw Space Jam, so I am only assuming by basis of being a children's cartoon that they would oppose human sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't hurt the basketball players that they stole the abilities from. They just made them like sucky.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Monstars didn't hurt anyone. They just wanted to like rule the earth or something.
Yeah, and Bill Murray got in the way somehow.
Bill Murray got involved, and Porky Pig, and
Yeah.
the two of them argued at one point.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's just
Yeah.
been a long time since I've seen that.
I remember very little. It's just little bits and pieces
Yeah.
that flash into my memory. Just like, oh yeah, that. Oh god.
Cultural osmosis.
Yeah.
They'll pop into my head, accompanied with "Hello, darkness, my old friend."
Is that the sound of doing the old math?
Yes. It's also you start to turn into a skeleton like Donovan did in the Last Crusade.
Oh.
He's like, oh, he chose poorly. I am old. Oh god. So all right. So yeah, they win the match, and Zeko Khan figures out they're not actually gods, and at this point, Miguel and Tulio are kind of fighting each other, but like Miguel's angry at Tulio. Tulio doesn't quite understand because Miguel overheard Tulio say to hell with Miguel because he's getting actively seduced by Chell. You'd think bro code you'd understand, but he doesn't. Oh, and there's a beautiful moment. It's very, very early in the movie as they're trying to escape from Spain. At one point, Miguel goes, and by the way, I'm sorry about that girl in Barcelona. And Tulio's like, wait, well, you did, and he gets cut off. And I'm just like, oh, I know what was going on there. Awesome, I love it. It's like little bits and pieces, little details like that, like make me love a movie. So, okay. So yeah, Miguel overhears Tulio telling Chell he'd like her to come with him to Spain before he would specifically wants her to go with him and to forget Miguel. And Miguel hears that part, he gets real upset, and Miguel decides he's going to stay, and he goes down to check on the boat, and he's trying to say that the boat isn't good enough, that you got to start all over again, trying to like buy time. Essentially, he's trying to say this boat is crap. But the boat is absolutely amazing, and he's like, "Look, this isn't solid at all," and he can't move it at all because it's like straight up like it's
They
like
carved it out of a freaking log.
Well, it's and you can tell it's not going to move because it's the background. It's not the actual like animation cell, so you know that shit's not going to move. He's like, and this is where we find out that the chief kind of figured out that they're not actually gods. Where he says, "Well, to err is human." And Miguel has that, oh shit, right, kind of situation. While all this is happening, Zeko Khan is off doing crazy witch doctor magics, which we hadn't really seen aside from it being kind of illusory magic beforehand.
He does like summon actual illusions.
Yeah, and the illusions are kind of cool. He gets like the people are snakes. It's like the green smoky snakes come out of like this
basically
little
like
thing.
Prince of Egypt stuff.
Oh, straight up Prince of Egypt stuff, which is that movie is darker than we want to think, but I'll get it another time. And while he's doing this magic and he's flipping through this book to try to find the spell to use, and at one point
Giant golden pages.
And on one of the pages, I don't know if you spotted it, there was the Aztec version of the DreamWorks logo.
Oh.
Really?
On one of the pages, there's like an Aztec kind of creature fishing off of a crescent moon. As one of the pages slipped by, I'm like, I see what you did there. But he finds like the page he's looking for, and he casts this spell, and he brings like this jaguar statue to life. And I believe that's supposed to be Tezcatlipoca, and I've probably butchered that name. He's like the big bad evil of the Aztec pantheon. In so much as there is a pantheon, like it's not really the right wording for it, but you know what I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
He
Why
brings
wouldn't
the
they have a pantheon? They have a bunch of gods.
it's a bunch of gods, but they don't have the same relation to each other that, like, say, the Greek gods would. It's a different
Giant
kind of thing.
crossover fan fiction thing.
Yeah, it's like it's like the same idea as a lot of the, I believe it's like the Hindu gods. So many of the Hindu gods are just aspects of the same being. They're not individuals. And like the Aztec thing, it's not quite that same where they're aspects of the same being, but they're they're gods, but they're also just kind of spirits. It's funky and it's weird, and I don't understand it fully. I just know it's not quite the same as like how we would understand the Greek gods. But anyway, he wakes up this statue, and he's basically got Aztec Voltron mech coming down to just smashes its way out of the top of one of the temples and starts attacking people. And like one guy, he gets straight up smashed by one of the feet, and here, I'm still okay. It's like, that was added in post, because that guy straight up died in the original script.
Oh, I thought it was a joke, like in that 98 American Godzilla thing where
I'm not dead yet.
the guy in the footprint.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm certain that I'm okay was added in like in post, because like that would have been that wouldn't let it have a PG rating. Like this movie wasn't G, I don't think. This was like PG, because we actually had blood in it, right?
And he said hell twice. I think.
Yes. Where is it?
Well, the blood was mostly just the cut on his face, or when the high priest like cuts his hand to do some magic.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not telling me. I could have sworn that this one was a PG. Production, maybe? No. God damn it. Wikipedia, you failed me. Anyway, whatever. So they Miguel and Tulio managed to trick the giant jaguar statue over to the sacrificial area with the giant whirlpool from earlier.
Yeah.
And
I guess that's their solution to can't show ripping hearts out.
Mm-hmm. And Zeko Khan shows up, and he like turns off the mech for a minute to try to like foment distrust in the two of them, and they start arguing back and forth with each other, and they they are angry with each other, and they are arguing, but at the same time they're also doing their fighting each other con without even realizing they're doing it.
Right.
It's like they're going back and forth, and they eventually just turn around and both punch Zeko Khan right in the goddamn face. And
that was a good play, because it almost looked like, granted we're talking about an animation, but I mean, it looked almost real.
Yeah,
for a moment that
you can definitely tell that there is actual like anger, there is actual emotions happening between the two of them.
Right.
But they're also they've done this particular con so many times that they're doing it without thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just how they are. And that is a great moment, and they manage to surprise Zeko Khan. They almost like throw him into the whirlpool, but wait, actual magic here, and gets the jaguar thing to come at them, and they manage to like dodge out of the way on like vines, and they swing around like clacker balls on like an office, like an executive's kind of motion toy. The Darwin, is it a Darwin thing?
I don't know.
Darwin's cradle. It's like the 5 balls and goes clack, 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 clack.
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. That's,
Darwin's cradle or something.
Yeah.
It's probably not Darwin.
Yeah, you see it in almost every office executive has it. Yeah.
Somebody listening right now is screaming at their podcatcher because they know what it's called, and I cannot remember it. See, right here, this right here, that
I thought it was called a desk clacker.
So you who's yelling at your podcatcher, this is how it feels to be a ghost. To know something that a podcaster doesn't know.
Newton's cradle.
Newton's cradle.
Yeah.
See, we got there.
Yeah.
We found it eventually. You can calm down now.
I also get results for a desk clacker.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of what it does.
Yeah.
Newton's cradle. I knew it was one of those guys. But
Don't eat it.
They managed
Big Newtons.
Newton's cradle. Don't eat that. You just made me think of the will it blend? And I just want to put one of those things in one of those blend tech blenders and see what happens.
Blender.
Like, don't breathe this. That was such a good channel. I wonder what happened to him.
These kinetic desk toys must be like the original fidget
I just looked at the the Google suggestions.
Yeah.
I looked up ball clackers for desk.
Oh no.
And I did look at nothing that that said, what are those desk balls called? So I clicked on it. It said Newton's pendulum or Newton's balls.
Now, see, when you say like the desk balls, I'm just picturing that that outline of an ass on the edge of a desk, and you just see that. Oh, someone's gotten a promotion. Okay.
Kinetic desk are a thing.
And if we were still sponsored by Adam and Eve, here's where I put the promo right there.
Absolutely. Speaking of Newton's balls.
Sir Ballsack Newton.
Okay, there's one thing I gotta mention. In our D&D game that we're running, there's an enemy coming up soon who, in the original actual written adventure, his name is Ballsag. I'm changing his name because I know the two of you, and you're not gonna let me live it down. But in the original written out adventure, his name is Balsag, Ballsag. It's just like you had to know. Come on.
Play him off as just Balzac and just say, oh, it's that famous.
The first time.
Was that a philosopher or some shit? I don't fucking know.
The first time when my original group went through the Sunless Citadel, he just became like Balsac the Destroyer for the rest of the game. So yeah, no. Anyone who's done the Sunless Citadel, you know who I'm talking about.
And then he falls over and goes, ow!
But you know the two of us very well that we'd have to stop the game for about 2 hours.
It's just like, and we're going to need to take a breather. I'm going to go make a sandwich. Come back, put the headphones back on. Yep, they're still laughing. Okay. Alrighty. So, the both Zekilkon and the Jaguar Voltron statue get sucked into the whirlpool, but through a remarkable series of coincidences, he doesn't die, and he gets Zekilkon gets kind of shot out of like the weeping face,
as if it was as if he'd fallen down a giant toilet.
Oh, straight up!
It goes through the pipes, but it's just natural.
It's like that. Stuff. It's like that crazy water slide situation in the Goonies.
Yeah,
yeah.
He comes out the other end and.
Yep. And he ends up face to face with Cortez and all of his conquistadors, who he sees them and his vision kind of blurs over, and I'm pretty sure he's seeing, and again, I apologize for this butchering, Huitzilopochtli, which I think I got that right, and I'm sorry if I didn't, who is the the Aztec god of war, warfare, the dawn. He's also the hummingbird of the east.
The monster thing he saw in the book. And he was for some reason.
Yeah, I think it's the East. I might be wrong. He is also the same guy, if you've ever... This is going to be another... Welcome to the Deep Weeb. If you've ever played the game Darkstalkers, the robot character Huitzel is based on Huitzilopochtli. Huh. Yeah, little bits of shit. Darkstalkers. That game was so good. Anyway, moving on. So yes, he meets up with Cortez, and through in a shocking coincidence, they speak the same language.
Yeah.
But that was already the situation in the beginning.
This is the straight up Simpsons things. Actually, I'm speaking Rigelian. By an astonishing coincidence, both languages are exactly the same.
Yeah, I was going to say it's kind of like Doctor Who too.
Yep.
Wherever the TARDIS is, it balances out all the languages.
It just translates. You hear it in what you
They did that with Clara in the Matt Smith world, where they in his era, she's like, wait a minute, I'm actually speaking Russian right now. Why? Don't think about it.
It's like
it's just happening.
It's a babblefish. Don't worry. About it.
So I imagine that the city must have a magical spell of understanding on it. Or something.
Guess. I guess I'm just gonna roll with it. It's a movie for kids.
Jaguar mech. So
it's a movie for kids. So it's and this whole time I'm sitting there on the couch watching it, just no. It is not the same language.
I kept being like, oh my god, don't sneeze on anybody.
It's like Spain Spanish and Mexican Spanish are not the same language anymore, if you think about it.
No.
And they wouldn't have gotten Spanish there yet
anyways. No, absolutely not. There's a reason they speak Spanish in Mexico, is because Spain came in and fucked everything up.
Yeah.
In the real world, Cortez genocided the living shit out of the Aztecs. But anyway... Where was I?
He did it off camera.
Yeah, in this movie, it would happen. It would have.
Although
in this movie,
he's an asshole because he's like, oh, I captured you, and now you're going to go work on the sugar plantation.
You're going to be
slave.
enslaved. It's just like you had to say it like that with that inflection.
Well,
come on, man.
You know, you got to know he's like the big evil bad guy that you forget exists until you get back and they're like, oh yeah, I forgot about those guys. They're getting closer.
Yeah, so Miguel decides to stay in the city, and Tulio and Chell are going to board the completed boat to take off and somehow sail back to Spain, although neither of them are actual sailors, so I don't know how well this is going to work out.
They're gonna row.
And as far as I can tell, there's only gold on this boat. I don't see any provisions.
Yeah. But what else are they gonna do?
Yeah, but they see smoke on the horizon, and knowing what's going to happen if Cortez discovers the city, which is a really ominous hyperlink on this Wikipedia article, which I don't want to click on. Tulio suggests using the boat to end up ramming the rock pillars under the waterfall to block the main entrance to the city. And
They'll be trapped forever. I sure hope it's self-sufficient.
It'll effectively trap everyone in El Dorado forever, but it'll keep Cortez from getting in, and through a whole series of things they manage to knock over one of the pillars, and they end up like riding the boat.
The gold.
They end up sacrificing the gold, although they didn't really want to, but they did. They sacrifice all the gold, and Miguel ends up going with them, because if he doesn't go with them, they're not going to make it out. The pillar's going to land on them. They're going to die, blah, 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 blah. They do manage to seal off the entrance, and just in time...
the city will get killed.
Exactly. The city will just be obliterated. And they do manage to block the entrance, and they are able to hide before Cortez and the High Priest show up, and the High Priest is going to show them, this is where you go, and then it's all blocked off, and Cortez calls him a heathen, he gets dragged off, and you can imagine what kind of inquisitorial bullshit's going to happen to this guy.
Not straight up murder him, but no,
he's going to do it slowly.
He's probably got a fate worse than death coming.
They say...
And then our heroes have a good laugh about
According to this, he takes Zeko Khan takes him away as a slave, but I have a feeling other things are going to happen to him. They're disappointed they lost the gold, but they appreciate the thrill of their adventure, and they head off in a different direction for new adventures with Chell. And we just don't think about what actually ends up happening when Cortez does his thing. But that's the end of this movie. We don't need to worry about the actual history of the world. And that was The Road to El Dorado, the source of many memes.
Yeah. It's really more enjoyable, and there was something about it that they wanted to try to set up in El Dorado too.
Because they left it open, but again, I'm not sure where they would have gone.
Yeah, right.
El Dorado was the big mystical thing of that time.
Yeah. But
then Disney did the Atlantis movie, which was almost what we were going to watch. The Atlantis movie, because I haven't seen that one either, and that's a little bit more pulpy. But I think this one is more. This one's more fun. This is definitely more adventure-y.
But I like the idea that you could sit and watch it, and I was kind of almost at a point where I was prepared to be bored.
Yeah.
Just for a moment, and I'm like, then I see the Aztec stuff, I'm like, okay, and then I see this, I'm like, okay, and then the Bard thing, I'm like, okay, and the Rogue, I'm like,
and okay, you see, and Miguel just keeps playing the lute, and you're like, will you stop that?
Yeah, and especially the scene where, Miguel is, playing with the kids, or it's like, no, we're gonna lay low for a number of days.
It's like, I am laying low.
Yeah, I'm laying low, and I'm having a freaking blast doing this.
Yeah, this is great. You know what, I'm gonna stay.
Yeah, I'm going to stay, and I'm going to be able to just hang out with these people who they think I'm a god.
Leave and be a nobody, or stay and be a god.
Yeah, or what's going to happen? What's going to happen 10 years from that point?
That's not the point of the story.
But if he stayed, though, what's going to happen 10 years later?
He may well have
made sandwiches.
For the lack of a better term, gone native. Basically, he may have a wife and a family by that point. Who knows?
Yeah,
we don't, because by the end of the movie, Miguel is very different than he was at the start. Well, maybe not very different, but he's different-ish than he was at the start. He's still kind of a con man. He's still kind of like a jerk.
Yeah.
But he's way less of a jerk and way more of the heart of gold
at
the end of the movie than he was at the start.
True.
Less selfish.
Yes. That's a much easier way to say what I just did. Yeah, so that was Road to El Dorado, a much more fun movie than it had any right to be.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that, it came out when it did and got kind of swallowed by the movies that came out around it, because it's... I really would... I would love to see what would have happened if DreamWorks had really exploded because
a little bit earlier,
because of Prince of Egypt and because of Road to El Dorado. If it exploded because of those, as opposed to Shrek, because DreamWorks became the CGI movie. Yeah, it became that. If we're talking memes, Shrek is all of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like
even the wrong ones too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Shrek is what kind of made DreamWorks blow up. They're the ones who kicked the door open with somebody want that whole.
So
I'm curious about. Have you seen the version of that where all the lyrics are just "and they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming and they don't stop"? It's just that, but to the rest of the song. So, steamed hams.
that's a different meme.
We're gonna go through all the memes, damn
The
it.
memes.
The Aurora Borealis.
Oh, I see.
This time of year, centered entirely in your kitchen.
I see a meme on your table. It's the sloth from
Yes,
EMV.
the sloth from
R&B.
from Zootopia, or in Europe it was called something else.
Yeah.
It was Zootopia here, or Zoo something I'll look up during the break and come back with later. So that was Road to El Dorado, and we're going to take a quick break, have a word from 4041 Media, and we'll come back with some fantasy casting.
Yeah.
And be back in a minute.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for listening.
Movie Theater Time Machine is a part of the 4041 Media Group with podcasts like Psych Your Crime and Free Your Geek, which you can check out at 4041media.com. That's all squished together one word, and the numbers are written as numbers.
Now it's time to tell us what you think. If you got an opinion or wanted to know what's coming up next,
Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by searching for Movie Theater Time Machine.
now our podcast will always be free to subscribe and share.
But if you'd like to help us build a bigger, better podcast, not to mention our confidence, you can find merchandise designed by me, Kaz, at Zazzle. Or check out the Kaz Foxen's Animal Shop at Zazzle for cute animal gifts and pet supplies.
Thanks so much, and back to the show.
And we're back.
Alright, fantasy casting.
So fantasy casting.
All right, I got the castings.
Go ahead.
So you guys have been kind of like vibrating with anticipation on this one.
Yes, we replaced it with Beavis and Butthead.
24.
24. That'll do it. I mean, it kind
in the middle.
it kind of works out.
This is what happens.
The one with the dark hair is smarter than the blonde.
Yeah.
It kind of works out.
And then they're
both crazy about chicks.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, do you?
We go to El Dorado. We go get chicks. They're gold and chicks.
Not
And we got
just.
gold. And we got chicks.
And
And we
then
got gold.
when
and
they
we got
show
chicks.
up, okay, you got Chell, and they think they're gonna team up with Chell, but then you do like one of those.
Switcheroos.
And they get stuck with Daria.
Yeah.
And she is not having any of their shit.
No, and in fact, at the end, she just takes the horse and ditches him in the jungle.
I'm just reminded of one particular episode of Beavis and Butthead, where they both ended up like naked in front of Daria, and Daria has her camera because she's like with the
photography club,
photography club. She goes, smaller than advertised.
Yeah.
Oh god!
And they're both like, ah!
Yeah, and the way that it poses, they snap it and they do that little like that sideways shot of the black and white Polaroid.
Yeah, it goes a little Dutch angle.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, but they see the hands just go right in front of the crotch in the weirdest way. Mm-hmm. And I really, really, really want to have we've got to get Paramount.
I want to see.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Paramount Plus. I believe my mom has it, so I can probably steal it here.
Yeah. But we have this because I saw a. Go ahead.
I would call it Beavis and Butthead do El Dorado.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's
Well, there's a new movie out. Beavis and Butthead do the universe.
Yes, I want to see
And-
it.
Where they somehow end up on a space mission.
And
Nice.
there's new episodes.
Yeah, I saw. Like,
Yeah,
they're apparently homeowners now.
Yeah, I see.
Somehow.
And I saw a clip of one of them. Apparently, there's one of them where Butthead gets Adderall,
Oh, Jesus.
and he levels out and he's normal.
Oh, God.
And he's like wearing a yellow collared shirt, and he's like, and in the back of the class, and he goes, and Beavis goes, "Hey, Butthead, why are you wearing that shirt?" And he goes, "It's a sunny day. Why not wear a sunny shirt?" I just like, I have to know more about this, because I mean, like, it's the TV show, and I mean, I think you two probably had this. I don't know, you didn't watch it much as a kid, right?
No.
No, but
I didn't watch it religiously,
Yeah.
but I did watch some of it because
Yeah.
if Mom and Dad caught me watching it, it was a bad scene.
Yeah, because my mom didn't want me to watch it. My dad caught me watching it. He's like, "All right, fine, let's figure out what it is." Sat down next to me, watched it, and laughed his ass off.
I had a poster of the frog baseball scene where,
Yeah,
where
I-
Butthead hits Beavis in the back of the head with a baseball bat.
I never had any posters or anything. I think I had a Beavis doll at one point in time. Or like one of those like couch buddies.
I had the Genesis game.
Yeah, and which was basically the Ren and Stimpy game.
Actually, the Super Nintendo one was closer to the Ren and Stimpy game. The one on Genesis was this kind
That's
of
right.
non-linear kind of adventure where like it was kind of an adventure game but kind of a side scroller, but both versions of it were too goddamn hard. Because it's like, if this is about Beavis and Butthead, they're idiots. They would never figure out how to do this.
No.
It was like
But
the point and click moon logic
yeah.
kind of bullshit.
Yeah. So can I add my point to this with El Dorado, Road to El Dorado? I think if they did this, they wouldn't even get off the beach.
Nah. They just end up beating the crap out of each other on the beach and end up, and Cortez would show up.
Or
while they
they'd
were
be at the
fighting.
beach just laughing, like, "We're gonna get Booth and gold and chicks. Get gold and chicks." And then the horse would be Stuart.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
God,
that was
Stuart.
my joke.
The horse
can we
wearing a
just
winger
go
shirt.
do... Guys, can we just go do something, please? My
God.
mom's gonna kill me.
Guys, winger is cool.
Come on, guys. Come on, fellas. Let's go do this. Which reminds me of one of my favorite episodes of Beavis and Butthead, where they think, one of my top 5 favorite episodes where they think Stuart's house got robbed. Stuart's house, like they were moving. And it turns out 2 guys were just robbing the place.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and
I don't recall that one.
it's just totally brilliant where they just like, "No, and like, no, you idiots, they moved." And these 2 guys they help them load the van up, and then they just start smashing stuff.
Yep.
They're like, "No, hey, you said you guys moved." Like, "We were robbed." That's the end of the episode.
Oh.
Like, that's also where you get the thing where they look at it, they see viewer discretion advised, and it's discretion's cool. Yeah, Beavis and Butthead has shaped my humor way too much.
I remember them MST3King the music videos more so
which
than I
was
remember the
fucking
individual
brilliant.
episodes.
Which was fucking brilliant.
One of the ones that sticks out in my mind was when they watched the King Missile video for a detachable penis.
Yeah.
And they didn't say a goddamn thing the whole time because the video, if you've ever seen that video,
You showed this to us.
is
at one
guys
point.
playing football with the detachable penis in a junkyard.
Yeah.
And legitimately, it's like the 2 of them just staring in utter shock and horror for the entire... They didn't say a goddamn thing for the whole video. It just keeps cutting back to them, and they're just sitting there like... I had to make the sound because, audio medium.
Yeah, the best one they ever did was the... I don't remember which video it was. I think it was a Soundgarden video. It was a woman on a farm dragging, just bored and just dragging different tools around. But Beavis goes, "Hey, Butthead, what's that?" He goes, "Beavis, that's a hoe."
It's a hoe. I know, but what's that in her hand?
I know, what's that thing she's dragging behind her?
It wasn't the Black Hole Sun video, right?
No.
Because I know they did that one, and they thought they were high.
Yeah.
Because that video was trippy as fuck.
Yeah. And there was
Okay,
one
kids,
of
back in the day, there used to be things on music television called music videos.
when MTV was music TV and not miscellaneous TV.
Yes.
And
That just clicked in my head. It's like, oh yeah. It hasn't been that way for like 20 years.
Speaking of that, it's the 30th anniversary of a show that everyone has forgot about, but we all remember the time slot called Snick.
Yeah.
Oh God, Snick.
Yeah.
Are you afraid of the dark at 9:30?
Yeah.
I Afraid of the Dark. Wasn't Roundhouse?
Roundhouse is the one
Roundhouse.
everybody forgot about.
I couldn't tell you a damn thing about Roundhouse,
Yeah.
but I knew it existed.
There was a bit that they did where they watched TV and they predicted what MTV would be like now.
Oh jeez.
Where they called it MTV.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, now on MTV, here's stuff you're gonna watch anyway that nobody gives a shit about.
Pimp my ride.
Yeah.
Yo, dog, we heard you like bullshit in your bullshit, so we're gonna do all this bullshit to your car, and it's gonna fall apart as soon as the cameras turn off. Good luck, asshole.
Yeah, we're gonna put a jet engine subwoofer in the back. We're gonna remove it once the cameras turn off, dog. Y'all do fine. But this Beavis and Butthead, I think, would do great with it. I'd say Stewart would do that. I agree with Daria being chill. Or Daria would be just.
Who would be the chief and who would be the high priest? Because I was just like, McVicker, is he the chief?
Yeah.
No, McVicker is too, like...
I know, he's so jittery. But he is the guy in charge.
Yeah.
But he barely holds it together.
It could be McVicker from the episode where it's a Wonderful Life version.
Yeah.
Where
where
Charlie's trying to convince them that life is better without them.
And he's singing carols with the students.
Yep.
Full head of hair.
Full head of hair. He's not like, I want to say the high priest is, I can't remember the coach's name.
Coach Buzzcut.
Coach Buzzcut.
Yeah, I was
Very
thinking that.
angry Coach Buzzcut.
You kids are gods! The gods are here!
Yeah, because he wouldn't
Talk to
be...
the spirit of the underworld!
He
He wouldn't
balls
be
at him.
he wouldn't be the hippie teacher. The hippie teacher...
Van Driesen.
Yeah, Van Driesen is way too chill about everything.
So would he
Guys,
be
we
the
have-
chief, but he's not like the principal.
What do you guys want? What do you gods want us to do, okay?
Yeah, okay. This is the way you gotta explore your feelings.
Okay? We'll do what you want us to do. We'll bring you a bunch of gold and throw it to the underworld, okay?
Okay, just throw that over there.
Which
I broke Dan for a second.
I could be wrong on this, but I thought the Aztec underworld was something different. I didn't think it was called the Zabulba or whatever they called it in this. I thought it was called something else.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought. Well, it was. They said spirit worlds.
I mean, Zabulba is a pod racer, but we're not going to get into that.
Bulba?
Zabulba is a pod racer who walks on his hands and grabs things with his feet. Star Wars. Don't. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, honestly, I've been trying to come up with like a fantasy casting, but honestly, I don't think I could top the Beavis and Butthead universe crossover.
I don't think I can top that either, but I do have another idea.
Okay,
Good.
what's your idea?
Okay, replace Chell with Chell from Portal. Now
Portal.
she's got a portal gun.
And a lot of problems are solved.
Oh. Damn it. And then I'm thinking, if she has a portal gun, does she run into Rick and Morty because they have a portal gun? And then it just goes off the rails.
She's got a portal gun. The high priest is Wheatley.
What about GLaDOS?
No, GLaDOS. Sorry, GLaDOS would be the high priest because GLaDOS would be the Jaguar Voltron.
Oh, okay. Is Keith Johnson involved?
Yes, I don't know where we'd put him though.
Oh.
I admit I didn't get very far in Portal 2.
I just remember something about turn those lemons into grenades. Make life take them back.
I don't think I even got that far. I got up to a point where I just could not figure out the puzzle. Like, there was something about a trajectory puzzle, and I could not get it right, and eventually I'm like, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah.
I know somebody gets shot to the moon.
I've played some of the co-op of that, and mostly I just spent most of the time dropping my friends into the boiling acid.
Oh.
I'm that kind of co-op player. That's why I play.
What about GLaDOS turns into a potato?
That part was fun, and she's very upset about it.
I'm a potato. She could be Daria at that moment.
Yes. Speaking of potatoes, we have the stress potato,
Did you
cell
know?
phone mount.
Oh my god, I listened to this interesting, video about the history of potatoes one time, and they're actually a New World crop. and then they were brought to Europe.
Tomatoes as well.
Yeah, and apparently potatoes are so easy to grow, they caught on in like poor places, so then they get associated with like Ireland and Russia and shit.
Because, potatoes have enough nutrients in them. It doesn't have everything that your body needs, but it's got enough to sustain you.
Does it have electrolytes?
It's what plants crave.
I love
But no, it's got enough of the
potatoes
nutrients.
are amazing.
It's got enough of the nutrients to sustain you. Maybe not make you thrive, but to sustain you, and that's kind of what you need to keep your thirst going.
It's the purest carb, the purest carbohydrate in general. That just
The humble potato.
Yeah, and a lot of starch too.
The potato.
Yeah, So
I love you, potatoes.
yeah. Can I make one plug too?
Go for it.
Okay, so Sunday mornings on Instagram. For those of you who are listening to this now, we usually post this around Sunday nights. So you might have missed it at this point, but Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Myself and my good buddy Michael Hummel. The two of us have a podcast on Instagram. It's on the Wheels and Warriors profile. So, and also on my own profile too, Nick Tabor Fitness. We host a podcast called Powering Past Abilities, where we discuss different things with disabled people and differently abled as well. And to try to end stigma with disabilities in the workaday world and life in America.
I thought differently abled was one of those terms that actual disabled people thought was kind of silly and trite.
It really just depends on the person. I mean, so you could say disabled with me, I don't really mind. But, others will say, oh, differently able. But there's no real written rule.
Yeah, it depends on the individual.
Yeah.
Like, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah, it really doesn't here. So, I mean, tune in with that, Powering Past Abilities. Michael and I have been doing this since what is today? We are in August right now. We've been doing this since April, and we've really, really, really got some traction going here.
Nice.
So we'll start to we're going to move from the video format eventually to the audio format to bring it out even further. We're doing pretty well though.
Cool.
Please check it out. It's been a real lot of fun, and we've been really hitting it well. So
it's like head on over to the Insta.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah.
All right. So.
The dawning of the age of the jaguar.
Oh.
Age of the jaguar. Sorry, that's what I was thinking when I heard that.
I got you. Oh man.
I say I've had the final countdown stuck in my head for like 3 days, and I don't think it's going to get out unless I use an ice pick.
So next month.
What are we doing next month?
Yeah, next month we are going to explore movies of Paul Newman.
The salad dressing guy.
The salad guy?
Yeah. Yes, the salad guy, not the guy who is commonly thought of. You think of Wayne Knight nowadays.
Right.
Yeah.
Newman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But no, we're exploring the movies of Paul Newman. Next week we are going to explore a 1950s movie about a boxer called Someone Up There Likes Me.
I'm going to be getting back to our roots a little bit with the older movies.
It's a movie about a boxer who is going through some pretty tough fights in his career and is like, why aren't I dead? Basically. And
it's gonna be a learning experience for everybody.
Yeah.
Let's be perfectly honest, I only knew about the salad dressing.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, and I know.
It's like, he did movies too, huh?
Yeah,
How about
I
that?
know a few movies, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna do Someone Up There Likes Me, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid,
All right.
and a movie called Slapshot as well. Those three are lined up right now. But Slapshot, I remember watching as a kid and laughing my ass off.
Okay,
Which is basically considered the R-rated version of the Mighty Ducks. So Disney,
that was a Paul Newman one?
yeah,
Because
Slapshot.
I don't think that's the same movie I'm thinking of, but it might actually be. Hang on.
Yeah, but he,
Paul Newman?
basically,
Okay.
as I understand the story went, is they wanted to write a kid-friendly version of that, or they were a kid-friendly hockey movie because in the early '90s, sports movies were great. And yada yada, let's do them all with kids. Okay, we got this, and then they saw Slapshot and then wanted to water it down. Somehow it works.
Fair enough.
Yeah, somehow it worked, but it's a 70s version of that,
It
and
looks like it's in black and white. Or, well, no. Or just some of the promo shots are. The rest of it. Okay.
no, but we're going to explore. Those are 3 movies that are lined up right now, but really get into Paul Newman, because one of the last movies that I saw, last interviews that I was just kind of scrolling around, because apparently it's getting, right around the anniversary of his death soon. Not the reason of choice, but he said, the one thing I regret but I'm happy about is the fact that some people will know me for more of my salad dressing than my movies eventually. And
This is me raising my hand. Yeah, that's me.
And me too. It kind of gets to the point, though, but that's one of the roots of the show, is just to see what's up. What did he do? What happened? Because I think it's going to be interesting.
I just did a quick look up to see if there was another movie called Slapshot that I was thinking of. No, it's Slapshot 2.
Yeah.
Which it was a 2002 sequel.
Yeah.
Starring a Baldwin. I believe Stephen Baldwin.
You got that? Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
Baldwin the Lesser.
One of the lesser Baldwins.
Yeah.
There are many.
Yeah. So we will explore Paul Newman next week's 1958. Someone up there likes me. This one's going to be really interesting, and we're going to go forward with it. So be good, take care of yourself, don't be too good.